Hey guys, welcome to Saturday Night Sit Down with your host, Tammy Pinnock. On today's episode, I want to talk on a topic: how long should you date before marriage? Now, this is a topic that everybody has got their opinion on, how long you should date before marriage. And most churches now will actually tell you if you must court for 1 year, you must court for 2 years before you get married. And if you court less than what they have written in their own constitution or their policies in the church, then the pastor can refuse to join you guys together. So let's look at it. Let's start with some facts. Like I always say, guys, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I tend to take most of my references from the Bible. But it doesn't matter what you believe in. You can be a Christian, you can be a Muslim, you can be whatever rocks your boat. It's fine by me. But I tend to take my references from the Bible because I believe in God and the things of God. Now let's take some facts. Fact number one is that in the Bible, there is no place in the Bible that the Bible states that you must court or date for a certain amount of time before you get married. In the entire Bible, all the people that got married, the parents of the girl, the parents of the guy, send somebody. They don't even send the man himself. They send a representative to go to the house of the girl that they want to marry, make their intentions known, and that's it. If the family of the girl says yes, that's it. They get married. And they were married for long years and years and years and years. And fact number two, our parents of the old, not just of the old, even my mom, I'm sure a lot of your parents, they didn't date. There was no dating time, no courtship time before they got married. It's same thing, just introduction. Somebody introduced, the family comes together and decide, okay, our son loves your daughter. We would want her to be our wife. And they speak to the girl, do you agree to marry that man? The girl will say yes. And in some culture in those days, the girl doesn't even say, I like him or not. They believe in making things work. And our parents got married without any dating, no courting time. They were just introduced and they got married. And their marriages last till old age, most of them. Majority of the marriages of the older generation last till either one spouse will die or they get to old age and they die. But they most of them lived happily. They enjoyed their marriage because they believe not in all these fairy tales wedding. They believe in making things work. Now, fact number three is that the length of your courtship is not a guarantee, that your marriage would work. You can be in courtship for 5, 6 years, maybe more, and you go into your marriage, and within the first 2 years of the marriage breaks down. So, for me, and I'm saying this is my personal opinion, when it comes to courting, there is no time limit to it. I don't believe like someone will say, oh, you have to date somebody for 5 years so that most people will tend to say the reason for a long courtship is that both of you get to know each other. That when you date, the longer you date them for, the chances that you get to know them better. But newsflash, guys, no matter how long you date a person, you can still never know them. You never know them. You can only know a person completely when both of you start to live together. So you can date someone for 5 years, 6 years, whatever length of time you can date them. You will never, and I repeat, and it's a fact, you will never know that person completely. You will only tend to get to know who that person is, who that man really is, who that woman really is when you guys are living together. And you know, the best example, I like to use myself as examples. Now, my first relationship, we dated for 8 years. 8 years, guys. I dated this guy for 8 years. And I only found out in maybe the 6th year or the 7th year that this guy was a smoker. And I know, guys, I know people will say, oh, that is not true. I can't believe that you date somebody for so long and you never knew that they were smokers. I didn't know. And it's not, in those days we were young, we see every day. So it's not as if, oh, it's a relationship that we see maybe once or twice in a week. I see this guy every day. Then I was in school. We had nothing to do, so we see every day. And even whilst we were in uni, we were living together. But I didn't know that this guy was a smoker until one fateful day where I was there. I went there in the morning. I was with him till late in the evening, because that's usually how we spend our day. I do my house chores quickly in the morning and I run over to his house and we spend the entire day talking and doing whatever we're doing, and then in the evening I go back home. So I spent my whole day there, went back home. And then I got home, I was bored. There was nobody in the house. So I said, you know what? Let me just go back. So I went back. When I go back, it wasn't in his room. His friend said he was in the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom and I could smell, just walking to the bathroom, I could smell cigarettes. And I called his name and he jumped. And when he came out, you can't hide in there for long. He came out and I caught him smoking. 6 years into that relationship before I knew that he was a smoker. That's one example. So you can never know a man and you can never know a woman during courtship. Not all of them. You can get to know bits of them, parts of them, but you cannot say, I know him well enough and I know my marriage will work. It's not the length of your courtship it's not a guarantee that your marriage would work. We've seen marriages of people that courted for a long time, and you see in this generation marriages don't last. They court for 2 years, they court for 3 years, they get married, but still their marriages doesn't last. And that's why you see marriages that people are breaking up, divorce rate is ridiculously high. Now people even prefer to just court than, they prefer being in a relationship than getting married, because most marriages does not last these days. So it brings us back to the question, how long should you date a man, or how long should you date a woman before marriage? And before we go into that, let me quickly say this. Some people will date for a long time, for years and years and years, and when they get married, you see them saying, my goodness, I didn't know this side of this man, or I didn't see this side of this woman whilst we were dating. And some people start regretting, saying, if I knew this part of this man or this woman, I wouldn't have even married him. And you hear some people saying, he has completely changed. He has completely changed, or she has completely changed. So you can date a man or a woman for 5, 6, 7 years, and then you get married, and maybe circumstances, things would happen, and that person will completely change from who you knew them to be. So the length of courtship is not a guarantee that your marriage would last, or it's not a criteria to say, yes, I've dated him long enough, I know him well enough. No. You can get in there and realize that, you really never really knew this guy. I tell you another example. The first guy I dated for 8 years, and 6 years into it, I found out that he was a smoker, and I found out a lot of other things. And then the second relationship I went into, I think we dated for about 3 to 4 years, and At the point I even had the key, he gave me the key to his house. That's how, how it made me feel comfortable that I was the only one. But trust me, guys, he was taking girls to his friend's house. So he never brought, no girl comes to his house. I felt like I was, the woman of the house. So, but he takes his girlfriends to his friend's house. And then his friend also, his friend usually bring girls to his house. And then I used to wonder, why would you, condone something like this? Your friend is in a serious relationship, he's got a fiancé, but he keeps bringing girls to your house. Why would you condone it? But then I was so naive, I didn't know that that's what they both do. So he takes his girlfriend to his friend's house, and his friend brings his girlfriend to his house. So you can never know a guy. Trust me, guys. You can never know a guy. You can never know a woman completely. That's whilst dating. That's the point I'm driving at. So it brings us to the question: how long should you date a guy or a woman before you marry? And the answer is, there is no time limit to it, guys. There is no time limit to how long you should date for before marriage. If you believe that this is the right man for you, that this is the right woman for you, then go ahead and marry. But there is a but there, guys. When you go into that marriage, you're going into that marriage knowing that marriage is not a bed of roses. There will be ups and there will be downs. So you must be ready to walk together through those obstacles, because things are going to happen in marriage. And there's one thing you must realize: dating is a completely different ball game from marriage. They are two different things. So when you're dating, you tend to see the really good side of the guy, and you tend to see the really good side of the woman. But when you get married, that's when you see the real deal. So have that at the back of your mind, that I'm going into marriage knowing that I really don't know, everything about this guy, and I really don't know everything about this woman, but I'll be willing to get to know him. There has to be compromise in marriage. You should go in there knowing, with the mindset that whatever comes up, you'll be willing to compromise, and your marriage would work. So there is no time limit for how long you should cut a guy or cut a girl before you get married. Now, like I said earlier on, I am a Christian. I believe in God. I tend to take my references from the Bible. So for me, when my husband finally came, because I got married really at a late age. And my first relationship, 8 years, nothing. And I thought that was my everything. I thought, this is my husband, we've planned marriage, we've planned children, we've planned names and all of that. But it didn't work. It didn't work. Not because of the length of the time that we dated, but it wasn't meant to be. And then my second relationship, we cut it for about maybe 3 to 4 years. It did not work, even though we both tried to make it work, but it wasn't meant to be, because that person, it's not the plan of God for us to be married. We were fighting to make it work, but it wasn't the plan of God for us to be married. And then my third relationship, that lasted for 3 years. And when I got into the relationship, I thought, finally, this is the one. But it wasn't. That was even the worst one. It was a cheat. That guy, he had only God knows how many. He was a player. That's the right word to use. He was a player. And trust me, guys, he knew how to play the game. He was a player. But he was a nice guy, but he was a player. And I didn't want a player. And it didn't work, because he wasn't the right one. So all my life, I have been in long-term relationship. But when I met my husband, and maybe one day I'll make a video of my testimony of how I met my husband, the journey and everything. But when I met my husband, we only dated for 3 months. Yes, 3 months. I dated my husband for 3 months before we got married. And trust me, guys, now I'm not pretending. My marriage is a bliss. I have a beautiful home that I can only thank God for. I have a peaceful home. Before I got married, I was a size 10. I was nice and small, And after I got married, I'm just putting on weight and everybody is shouting, what is going on? And I tell you guys, it's peace of mind. And in the time that I have been married, the first 2 years of my marriage was hell. It was a challenge, and not just physically but also spiritually. The things that went through in the first 2 years of our marriage, some people that has been in 10 years of marriage, if they go through same thing, trust me, their marriage would not last. A lot of marriages has gone through same thing and they didn't survive. They came out of it. Either the woman says, that's it, or the man says that's it. But we went through it. The first 2 years was the toughest years of our time. But we went through it and we came out of the other side even better. And how did I know that, after 3 months of dating, how did I know that, yes, this is the man? It's God. It's God and the Holy Spirit. When you start something on, like I said, I don't know, you might be Muslim, you might be Christian. But when you do things according to what you believe in, things tend to work for you. After my 3rd failed relationship, I told myself, you know what? That's it. I don't want to date anybody. Anybody that comes, it's going to be straight into marriage. I am not dating. I told myself that. And I said that to God. God, I don't want to date. I want the real man just to come and marriage. I don't want to cut. I don't want to date. Enough of disappointment. And for the next 3 years after the 3rd relationship ended up, I just dedicated myself to God and believe in him that one day the right person will come. I dedicated myself to my work. I was a workaholic, so I wasn't bored. I kept myself busy. I was not bored at all. I love my own privacy. I love my own company. I dedicated myself to my work and the things of God. I poured myself completely into the things of God. I did the work of God wholeheartedly, and it's not because of what I wanted or what I was looking for, but because I had enough of lies and everything, that all the negative things that comes with relationship, and I just wanted to serve my God and love my God, and that was what I did. And eventually, before my husband came, God, the Holy Spirit has already told me. So I've seen him already in my dreams. And the Spirit of God already told me that when he comes, when you see him, you will know. And when he came, I knew that this is my husband. And the first thing we did, we went to the altar of God and we dedicated our relationship to God. We started on the altar of God. And to the glory of God, we are here, we are stronger, we are still standing to the glory of God. So it doesn't matter. The length of courtship doesn't mean anything. You can decide to date somebody for 2 months. You can decide to date them for 5 months. You can date them for 5 years. But the main point that I'm trying to bring out here is that make sure you are led by the Holy Spirit. So if you are a Muslim, make sure you are led by Allah. So you're led by what you believe in. You have that inner conviction that yes, this is the right woman, this is the right man. Don't just go into a marriage that, oh yes, this is the one, and Tammy said we can date for 1 month, and then you go into a marriage and it doesn't work, and you come out and say, Tammy, you have killed me. No, guys, no. You have to have that inner conviction that that this is the person, that inner peace that this is the person. And when you go into that marriage, like I said, be ready, because things will happen. There will be ups and there will be downs. You will see some side of the guy and you will say, what the hell did I get myself into? And you will see some sides of the woman and you'll be like, what is this, or who did I marry? But if you are willing to compromise, if you are willing to get to know them and accept them for who they really are, you can't change a man and you can't change a woman. You know, some people will say, you know they date for a long time and there are some areas of the person that they despise, they hate them so much, but they feel after we get married they will change. And then after they get married, the person doesn't change and then they become disappointed. But when you are willing to, you know, take the person for who they are, you know them, and you feel, yes, I can cope with this side of this person, and I'm still willing to work things out, I'm willing to compromise in order for my marriage to work, then it will work and it will last. And also, when you have the mindset that marriage is not a bed of roses, then it will work and it will last. It's when you go into a marriage, especially ladies, you go into a marriage thinking you're going to have a Cinderella wedding. Oh, fairy tales, fairy tales. You're going to be disappointed. Marriage is the real deal. No fairy tales. It's the real deal. But if you go in there with a mindset, you know, of, you know, I know it's not all a bed of roses, then your marriage would work. Whether you dated for 2 months, whether you dated for 5 months, whether you dated for 6 months, whether you dated for 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. The main thing is that if you go in there with a mindset that marriage is not a bed of roses, then it will work and it will last. And if you go in there with God in the center of your marriage, or with Allah in the center of your marriage, then it will work. And if you go in there willing to compromise, that you cannot always have it your way, then yes, it will work. If you go in there knowing that there will be ups and there will be downs, oh yes, it will work. You go in there knowing that sometimes you will fight and you will settle, yes, it will work. And above all, if you start your marriage on trust and respect, then yes, it will work. So for those of you guys that are still waiting, I wish you luck, that you will find the right one and you will live to enjoy your marriage and not regret it. But remember, the length of your courtship is not a guarantee that your marriage would work. Okay guys, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for, you know, taking your time to join me on my channel today. I really appreciate it. Join me next Saturday for another edition of Saturday Night Sit Down. I remain your host, Tammy Pinnock. And listen guys, if you like my content, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel, because when you do, you'll be the first to get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Okay guys, that's it from me. Till next Saturday. Bye. Bye. Let it go.